Do I have to hit the thing? That's weird. Good morning, everyone. On behalf of CAAR, I would like to call this meeting to order and welcome you to our first general membership meeting of 2026. Your safety is top of mind, therefore, in case of an emergency, I want to point out the closest exits. In addition to the 2 exit doors located in the ballroom, which leads you to the side parking lot, we have 4 doors immediately outside this room leading to the terrace. Once on the terrace, you will follow the walkway around the building to the front parking lot. You could also exit the ballroom and pre-function area and leave the way you came through the front doors. To begin today's meeting, I'd like to welcome you to stand and join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Next, we will move on to the approval of the meeting minutes from our December general membership meeting, which included the 2026 installation of officers and directors. The minutes were included in our handout. Are there any additions or corrections to the distributed minutes? If so, please submit your feedback using the Zoom chat window. Okay. If not, they stand approved as distributed. Thank you. Next, I would like to acknowledge the CAAR antitrust statement. This statement ensures that we are encouraging discussions that promote all realtors and does not restrict competition among members or potential members. We work to foster a forum for an open discussion of diverse opinions without attempting in any way to discourage or sanction any business practice. The CAAR antitrust statement will be acknowledged before every CAAR meeting. You can see a full copy of our antitrust statement in today's handouts. We are extremely grateful for our sponsor for stepping up and helping us provide this wonderful program. This morning is brought to you courtesy of Greenwood Homes. We value the professionalism, service, and support of our affiliates to CAAR and its members. February is Black History Month, a time when we deepen our understanding of our nation's rich history, stories, achievements, and contributions that have too often been underdiscussed and overlooked. We encourage you to set aside time this month to learn, reflect, and share with others how you have honored Black History Month. Please amplify this effort throughout the month and share CAAR's social media content that highlights influential moments, individuals, and contributions, both nationally and within our local community. In January, CAAR members gathered in Richmond for the CAAR Realtor Day on the Hill, an opportunity to advocate in person for their industry and their association and their clients. The event empowered members to engage directly with Virginia lawmakers and help shape housing policy that affects home ownership and property rights across the Commonwealth. During these important meetings, CAAR members met with Senate and House representatives to request support for the Virginia Realtors legislative agenda and other key bills impacting the real estate profession. When realtors show up where decisions are made, they make meaningful difference in the communities they serve. If you are unable to attend Realtor Day on the Hill, the next best way to make an impact is by supporting the Realtors Political Action Committee, or otherwise known as RPAC, your strongest business ally. We encourage you to connect with our local RPAC representatives to learn how it protects your business and advances issues that matter most to realtors. Speaking of making an impact, this fall we will kick off the 4th class of the Pat Gentleman Leadership Academy. This program is intended to foster knowledge, encourage further movement of volunteers into additional leadership roles in the realtor organization at the local, state, and national level. We are excited to open enrollment for the 2026-2027 class, which will be co-facilitated by CAAR past presidents Josh White and Ann Burrows, both PGLA graduates. Tuition for the program is $500 and covers class material and meals the day of class. CAAR will be launching an incentive program for any participant to receive 50% rebate at the end of the program, a $250 value. Please scan the QR code to learn more about the PGLA and complete the application by 5 p.m. on Friday, March 27th. And now, for the first of our 2 guest speakers this morning. In today's competitive market, finding new listings can be challenging, but not impossible. As you saw in the Q4 market report, supply in the region went from 2.3 months to 3 months in the final quarter of 2025. While that number is heading in the right direction, we still don't have enough inventory with the amount of buyers coming into the market. We are fortunate to have Sasha Tripp, broker owner of Story House Real Estate, to share proactive strategies to uncover hidden inventory and create new opportunities with clients. Sasha's presentation will be available in next week's news group issue. If you're in person and have a question, please submit an index card that's included with your packet. Raise your hand and a staff member will collect it from you. Those on Zoom, please use the Q&A feature on the Zoom toolbar to submit your questions. Your questions will be read aloud. Sasha, take it away.
Thank you.
Okay. You all hear okay? Let me turn something off. Go. Okay.
Okay, everyone can hear me? Okay, awesome. Good morning, guys. It's good to see everyone. If you follow me on social media, you saw that I posted yesterday or the day before about a recent review I got about a speaking engagement that I had just done, where the woman really just lit into me and said that none of it was useful, too much of it was basic, and that I made her anxious, and that she talked to all the people at the table around her, and they agreed that I made everyone in the room anxious. And so she said that, she put her name on it. I had a little talk with her, and then I did a lot of reflection on that because, I had to make a decision about like how I wanted to show up at speaking engagements, right? Because I probably do make some people anxious, especially in the advent of talking about AI and talking about like what our industry is going to look like in 6 months, 12 months, couple of years. I probably do make some people anxious, but I have to think that the people that bring me to their association or to their events are not hiring me for rainbows and butterflies and to be a cheerleader, because they probably would have picked someone else if that's what they were looking for. And so I feel like it can only go up from there, but I'm going to give a disclaimer. I am not presenting any of this to make you feel anxious or like you're behind or there's too much to do or there's no way to keep up with all of this stuff. I am here to just give you a very realistic perspective of what is going on in our industry and also make you aware of some extra ways that you might be able to leverage your time, leverage technology, make your job easier to serve your clients a little bit better. But it's not saying like you have to adopt all of these things. It's taken 10 years to roll most of these things into our business, and we're changing every single day, every month. I feel like something we created a couple months ago with an automation or with AI is already outdated and we're having to redo it. So you're not behind. In good news, this is one of those times when it's changing so quickly that even if you were on top of it last week, you could be behind in a couple of months. So everybody who feels behind already, you're going to be right at the same pace as most of us, next quarter. So I don't want this to be overwhelming. That's my disclaimer. If you feel overwhelmed, please try to circle back to the idea of like, we don't have to do all of this. Like, I'm not all things to all people. I'm not going to be an expert in every single type of marketing. I don't need every piece of technology. Maybe I don't need to leverage myself as much as some of what might be described here because you're serving a smaller population or you have a smaller niche or, you're more focused than some of what I'm going to describe. So please don't be overwhelmed. But if you are, maybe try to find a nicer way to say it. Unless they're nobody. That's what I want to ask for you today. So why am I up here teaching my competitors about how to get listings that I might be able to get myself? I don't look at I think there's an abundance. There is so much business out there to be had right now that is untouched potential that when somebody asked me, will you speak on how to create more inventory? I was like, absolutely, because that would help my business tremendously. That would help my team tremendously. If everyone in this room and the people you go home and talk to after this figure out a couple new techniques to create more inventory, then all ships rise together, right? Like it puts us all in a better business opportunity. I will say this throughout this presentation, we are not in an inventory shortage issue in this market. We are in a seller activation issue because there are tons of people who want to sell. There are tons of people who have tons of equity. There are tons of people who are very well positioned to sell, who have outgrown their homes, and they are not selling. So it's rooms of people like this that can help influence that. I think there's plenty of homes for all of us to sell if we could all just get a little bit more technical and scale up a little bit in how we talk to people about this. I think it would go a long way for everyone. Well, that kind of shrunk this a little bit. So why I'm sharing this. Inventory creates more inventory. Listings create more conversations. Every listing that someone in this room pops up allows me 5 conversations with some of my past clients about a property in their neighborhood or a property they might be interested in, right? So every time a new listing comes up, whether it's my firm or another firm, it gives me more opportunities to sell houses to the people I know. Conversations create confidence. Confidence creates movement. And movement is what's going to stabilize this market. Like we have the ability, like we have a lot of people that would like to move right now. They just don't know what to do next. So you'll see this throughout activating our sellers. That's the focus. So the inventory flywheel, everyone knows a listing produces more buyer activity. Buyer activity gets seller curiosity going. Neighbors start talking, your friends start talking. Buyers try to buy the listing and they may not be able to secure the listing, but they've started the process thinking like, oh, I might need to sell my house in order to buy. They get that process started. They may miss the listing they were looking at, but it started them thinking about the whole idea. So every time we can get one listing, it triggers this whole opportunity to gain more listings from it. And quick housekeeping note, you're welcome to take photos of any of this. This isn't like it is a little prettier online, but I will PDF all of these slides. This will be fully available, so you can have the PDF of it, but I think this is also recorded, so you can get it in a number of ways. So seller equity. So the first half of this presentation is going to be mindset, conversations, like working better with what we already have. And then the second half is like specific techniques and tactics, like how do I go find a new listing today, totally out of the blue that I would not have been able to create myself. The first side, we know that a lot of people have equity in their homes. The stats that I was looking at today, I didn't put it on here, I meant to, but it's something like 30 or 40% of people, ChatGPT could tell us this answer really quickly, own their homes free and clear, right? So they are able to sell. Do we know a lot of people in this world that are in a house that they've outgrown, or their kids have gone out to school, they've ungrown, right? Like they need less house, but they're still in it because they're talking about their interest rates. Lots of people are thinking about it. We are just not teaching them what to do with that information. So the fact that there is equity means there's a lot of options. There's move up flexibility. There's freedom to downsize. A lot of people are just looking to eliminate debt. Like, let's just get this off of our back and get into something that's a little less, and then redesigning lifestyle. So the first thing to talk about is working with what we already have. It is frustrating to me to see listings that, like, we all see those listings and we have to do what our seller wants us to do. We can't force a price on them, but we all see listings that come up that are grossly overpriced. And you see a house in a neighborhood and you're like, there is absolutely no way that house can sell remotely close to that price. And I think the first conversation that this room could be having is like, well, that was a hand raiser. That seller was someone that seemed interested in selling. They shared the willingness to go through the trouble to put their house on the market and talk about selling. Did we give it our all in making sure that they were as realistic as we could possibly get them to be about pricing? Did we share the data they needed? Did we talk to them about, maybe we're not appreciating at the percentages that you might have expected in previous year? Did you show them year over year appreciation for their neighborhood, for their county? Did you show them 3 other comparable sales in the neighborhood that are identical to theirs that sold for less? And now I'm not going to say, like, we can't pick the price for the seller. So there's no shame in, like, we are going to have sellers that pick high prices. Like, there have been many times in my life where I put a house on the market. I'm like, I wonder how many people are going to call me to see what is going on here. So, like, we've all been there. However, as long as you've put up the fight to make sure they have the right people, because remember, every stagnant listing, that's a confidence conversation with other people in the neighborhood. If people are looking around and they're being told, oh, the market's good, sell your house, and they see a whole bunch of listings stagnating, that's giving them very mixed messaging about whether or not this is a good time for them to be thinking about selling. So we all have personal responsibility to do the best that we can and make sure that we're not letting people just guide us to the price that we put out there. Pricing creates or kills momentum. Overpricing delays decisions. It discourages other sellers. It discourages people from thinking that this might be the right time for them. And then for me, it always comes down to me, like, you're not creating clients for life when you let someone do that. You may feel in the moment that you're doing them a favor because that's what they want to do. And again, we go with what our sellers want, but it is also in our, as long as it's legal and ethical, but it is also in their best interest for us to give them real information about what the market is doing. So I always talk about pricing. Pricing is not like a numbers, a data. It's not like who's the smartest. In my mind, pricing comes ultimately down to leadership, and I don't think a lot of people think of it that way, but it comes that like the people that have the lowest days on market, in my opinion, if you look around the average market, people with the lowest days on market are typically some of the very best leaders, the most candid people you'll speak to, the people that will tell you the things that you don't want to hear because that's what they're doing with their sellers day in and day out. It results in ultimate success for them with sales, but it's also just like, we're going to have hard conversations. We get paid a lot of money, guys. It's like, we're getting paid higher dollars than a lot of other industries in the world because we are having hard conversations that not everybody else wants to sign up for. So pricing reality about 2026, as most of this room, I think, is very aware, in a lot of the price bands, appreciation has slowed pretty significantly. We're seeing some more lateral movement or very slight appreciation, which is more kind of the market norm. So that's not that's not a bad market. Some segments are flatter. Buyers are obviously more payment sensitive. Everybody's poorer than they used to feel, right? Like everybody's feeling a little stretched. But I think we all see in this market, when homes are priced correctly and they are conditioned properly and marketed reasonably, they do still move in this market in almost all price points. Aspirational pricing slows all of this down, and aspirational pricing, when you have stagnating inventory, just creates more pull against the people who really are serious about listing their houses. So the talk that I have with a lot of sellers is, I say it all the time, lateral could be logical. Lateral could be logical. Like moving into people are always talking about, I don't want to give up my 3% rate, right? I don't want to give up my 3% rate. Well, but I hate my house. It's costing me too much to live here. I'm going to have to do an addition in order to fit here. And it's probably going to be, they'll tell me it's going to be 100,000. It'll probably be 250,000 by the time it's all done, right? There's all these reasons where if we're not giving them a lot of data and helping them with what's going on with their net, helping them understand like the big picture, then they might just be thinking, oh, this is just a lateral move, right? Like maybe I'm moving down into a lower house, but the higher interest rate is going to sort of offset it. This doesn't make sense. It doesn't, we've got to help separate people from the emotion about it and look at like, what is the big picture? Don't be emotional about giving up a really good interest rate if all of the other pieces don't really work for you. So having conversations about that, sellers really do borrow from our confidence. If we come in, and I always look around rooms of realtors when I speak to them, I'm always kind of looking around and I'm like, why isn't I wish everybody would come in, be polished and professional, be sitting up, be paying attention, and really come across like confident professionals, because this room, I think realtors have way more impact on market activity than we give ourselves credit for. We always say oh, homes never sell in January or February. Well, homes sell in Alaska in January, February, right? Homes sell in plenty of places that have snow and bad weather and clouds, and their school systems are on the same schedule as ours. They have summer break at the same time that we do. And magically, other people are able to sell homes. So sometimes it's how much of the market and seasonality have we created? Has this room created? The realtors in this room? Because if you go out and you're looking downtrodden, and you know what? A lot of us are downtrodden. We had some pretty good years where a bunch of the tactics I'm about to describe, we didn't have to mess with any of it. It was pretty nice. But we're not in those years anymore, right? We've got to do some new things. We've got to add some layers to our skill set. But if you're walking around downtrodden, oh, the market's bad, numbers are bad, things are hard, everything's rough, that's not inspiring anyone to get in the game with you, right? So this room has a big impact on how people feel about the market in general. And I think if we all showed up just a little bit bigger and a little more professionally, it has an opportunity to rub off. We are surrounding ourselves with people who are at least slightly raising their hands saying that they might be interested in doing something like this soon. So confidence matters. If you sound uncertain, that's going to rub off. If you sound negative, causes people to pause. we are trying to help them interpret what is going on in the market and the economy. And by many interpretations, you could find data and logic that would say that this might be a good time to sell, right? So we have got to help people understand that if that's the case for them. Also going into all these situations, I took a CE class, you guys, the other day. I'm renewing my license, and I took a CE class about open houses or listing. I forget which one it was, but it did a survey. It had a poll in it, which I didn't even know that was a thing, but has a poll, and you just answer your question. There's no wrong answers. And it said, I remember it was a pricing and inventory. It was about how to price and how to run comps and CMAs or whatever. And the question was, do you run a CMA for every seller client? And 75% of respondents said they only do if they know they're in competition. 75% on a VA. Like this is, I took a screenshot, I sent it to my whole company. I was like, well, this explains a lot about what's going on in the world, right? Like, that's not cool, guys. Like, even if you go on NAR, RPR, or you do an automated CMA out of the MLS and you don't even look at the comps, it's like, let's give them something so that they have something more than what's online. I would highly recommend, if you do not have a process for every single listing of getting them true comparable sales and telling them where absorption rates are, what the average appreciation in their neighborhood has been over the past couple of years, or what have you, your zip code, whatever you want to look at. Like, we've got to do better than that. It's no wonder that people are so confused. We're supposed to help them analyze the economy and the market. And if we're not even showing up with stats about their house when they're trying to pick the price, I don't understand. I'm sure that was all other people in other parts of Virginia, and that wasn't Charlottesville, but I was shocked. I was like, well, I couldn't even believe they published that. I was like, you should maybe just delete the answers from that poll and act like it never happened. But anywho, okay, so handling their objections. A lot of people in this room are probably pretty comfortable with this. This is where I know the review that got filled out, like, oh, it's tried and true. Every coach tells you this. Everybody said it until the end of time. I get it, but we're not doing it. Back to the basics, I think, is really important right now. For 5 years, more than that, for some of us, we didn't really have to do or have a lot of these conversations. It was a very different market. So back to the basics, I think a refresher for everyone, but for the people that are new to the market in that time, I think it's really important. But where would we go? The overcoming, there's no inventory. Where are we going to move? We might have to move twice. What if we sell our house? We sell ourselves into homelessness and we don't have a house to show for it. So there are lots of opportunities to overcome this. I am never trying to convince my client to make a move, but I am trying to architect or engineer options for them so that they know what they could do next. And in certain cases, you see some of these houses where they're in such a good situation. Like, they could sell and make $100,000 for doing nothing, right? You're like, oh, that's a pretty good situation. And if you have to have these conversations. Would it be worth it to you? Would $100,000 extra dollars be worth it to maybe have to rent for a couple months? And your rent, everybody's like, oh, we don't want to rent. Well, if your rent is the same amount that you were paying in interest on your mortgage, you're not losing any money renting, right? Mortgages, the mortgages aren't all equity. So having that conversation, there are many places in town that do short-term rentals. There are places that do executive housing. An idea I had for CAAR was getting on the website, you probably have this somewhere, but a long list of the places that will do short-term housing, that'll do 1 month, 3 month, that'll do executive, that'll do furnished, because we have a little list that we're constantly updated. I'm always scared that it's outdated, which is probably why an association would not want to take that job on either. But having, even if we have it on the little CAAR Facebook page, having a little Google Doc where it's well, I just went there yesterday and they're all out. Or I just went there yesterday and they don't furnish anymore. I just went and met this new person and they're willing to do 3-month executive rentals. It'd be really cool if we could collaborate on that a little bit, because we are all here together trying to find ways to free up inventory so that we can do our jobs, right? So leasebacks, obviously, sell, rent, re-enter the market. Having retirement facility relationships. There's a couple of relationships I'll talk about later today that really helps, because if you sort of know what's up and coming with retirement facilities, you have a better idea of can I downsize this person out of the market so that it allows a new person to enter it that wants to buy. Lots of things that you have to just think about, can we get creative? I mean, I had people last year that were just, they rented an Airstream for 6 months and they were like, we'll just sell now and get the most money we possibly can, stay in an Airstream, and then buy when we decide what we want to do next with all that extra equity. So there are ways to do it, and you have to have that conversation. Would X number of extra dollars make you willing to do X, Y, and Z things that you might not otherwise be super motivated to do? And then targeting, so there is some technology that will help target. Empty nesters is a hard one to target. Landlords with multiple properties, homes with deferred maintenance. That's not like, I have not yet found a technology that will do that. But you can have some people on the ground, like your painters, your landscapers, the people that are running around all the time. If you just had a few friends that were keeping an eye out for you, that just like flagged you when they saw a super dilapidated property or property that you can tell is just not being cared for anymore, then that helps red flag you like, oh, okay, when my buyer wants to buy in that neighborhood, let's try to figure out who owns that property and if they're willing to sell it. It takes extra legwork. We're in an extra legwork kind of market. Long-time owners with high equity. This is a screenshot that is very blurry for whatever reason. There's all sorts of technology online. What this little image over here that says cell score. So there are multiple technologies online that will basically, it's like people are geolocated, you see what activity they are taking online, and there are algorithms that can sort of guesstimate their likelihood of selling based on what they're doing. Like, are they looking at lots of homes? Are they searching things online? Are they looking at refis? Are they reaching out to lenders? All of this is just data that's being collected. So there is plenty of technology that can flag to you. Like, this is just a picture. I was just like, okay, Dunlora. Let's pretend I had a buyer that wanted to buy in Dunlora. If you could see this really well, which maybe you can, this is Charter Oaks, that's Blackburn Bluff. Those are all streets in Dunlora. So those little, that 2, 2, 1, 3, 3, over on that right side, that tells me, and I didn't know who would be in the room, if it would all be realtors, but I crossed out the address and the owner's names, but it tells you the contact, it tells you the address and owner's names. We often have contact information. You can send a mailer, you can ask around and figure out who people are. Lots of people are still very openly listed online that are not blocked by do not call. So if you have a buyer in Dunlora and you see, oh gosh, like this person at 123 Charter Oaks Drive has a high sell score, would it be worth, like, I know everybody's like, let's not door knock, let's not get killed in the modern age of like just going to strangers' houses, but would you feel okay in a neighborhood where it's allowed just knocking on one door because it's being flagged? You might have a buyer that's perfect buyer for it and it's being flagged as possible person that's high likelihood to sell. Maybe. It depends on where you are in your career, right? It depends on what it is that you need to do, how many contacts you have on your own, and how much you're having to drive out of people that you don't know. The rate lock, the 3% rate, it's like we can talk that to death. Talking about where equity can really exceed the impact of the rate, like pulling your equity and being able to invest that or do something with that equity. Again, free up inventory for the market. Lifestyle improvements could justify it. And I just say this a lot, a 3% rate on the wrong house isn't necessarily a win, right? Like, we could have a 3% rate on lots of stuff that we don't need or that doesn't serve us well in our lifestyle. Doesn't mean we just keep it forever. And then again, calculating net proceeds, rent comparisons. There's calculators for all of this stuff. Break-even timelines, payment deltas, like what would it cost for you to rent compared to what are you paying in interest on your mortgage? Is it sort of lateral? Would you be willing to do it for a period of time? What's it going to take to move twice? Like, do you really need to move twice, or could you pack up a couple, like, do you have flexibility in your life? Could you have a couple suitcases where you just move somewhere, you live very lightly until you find the next thing, again, to free up $100,000 in equity or have a better life or whatever that may be. So having all of those conversations with them. And then this slide got a little wonky, but the strategic partnerships, obviously, the more people you know, divorce attorneys, estate attorneys, CPAs, builders, painters, landscapers. I just meet with lots of them. I'm not saying, hey, refer me. Like, I just want you to have all your friends buy and sell their houses with me. But I just say, hey, if you see someone that's got like a home change opportunity coming, I would love the opportunity. If you feel like my personality might be a fit with their personality, I'd love the opportunity to be introduced to them. That's all I want. I'm not necessarily trying to get listings. Sometimes I'm just trying to make sure that those people have the right information. Even if their realtor is another person in this room, I want to make sure that they have the right information so that they keep moving down the path of like, let's list my home, even if it's not with Sasha. Like, I don't care about that. We need the inventory for the entire market. For us to have buyer sales, we need somebody to have listing inventory. So converting what you already have, this is something we always do. Go back 5 years, pull the people that you have worked with. expired, canceled. Here's something that a lot of people, their ego gets in the way of this. Say, would you be open to revisiting a strategy of what it would look like to sell again? Or if you burn some bridges or you kind of drop the ball or you never talk to them again, reach out and you could say hello and ask for the opportunity to introduce them to one of your colleagues, because you can still get a referral fee. You can recoup some of the time and effort and energy that you might have put on an expired listing by picking another talented person in this room that you trust and getting a referral fee and just introducing that seller who you may have like burned a little bit with or who may not fully trust your expertise. It's like get the ego out of the way, create inventory for the market, and maybe there's a profitability opportunity there with a referral fee. You never know, but if nothing else, we need the inventory. Annual seller review system. So some of these are just things we do with our database. So annual seller reviews, we have in our database or in our CRM, there's a million pieces of technology you could get to do this that either built right into your CRM or layer on top. But like for everyone that's in our database, they get a monthly home valuation update. It's automated. We disclaim it because it's not perfect. We disclaim it and we say, hey, this is just sort of giving you a temperature of what's going on in the market. If it's way off, if it's missing a bedroom, if something's really messed up, just let us know and we'll tweak it so that at least the baseline will be more accurate. But again, it is just an automation. So there's many, many technologies that could do this, but that is probably the number one thing that gets us in communication with like hand raisers more than anything else that we have, because they're just clicking and they're looking at their home valuation and we immediately get an alert. It's like, oh, Bob wants to see what his house listed for. Oh, Bob looked at it last month. Oh, he looked at it the month before that. Oh, today he clicked a button that was like, can you adjust it for me? And it's like, well, he seems like of all the database of people we might have, Bob seems like a good person to call today, right? To just chat to see if they have any intentions of selling. So things like that, the equity snapshot, and then just trying to figure out with our database, we're just trying to figure out something that I've done is we've created a dream home search. A lot of the agents in our team will say, hey, we understand, you don't plan to move anytime soon, but if there was a house that would motivate you to move, like I know you like living in your house in Spring Creek right now. I know you'll probably be there a couple years. I'm not going to hound you about buying or selling every year. But if there was a house that was going to motivate you to move somewhere else, what would that house look like? And then they're like, oh, mountain views, it's on the ocean, it's 500,000, whatever they say. And it's like, would you mind if I set you up in a search so that if something like that does come up, you see it? And most people are like, sure. So then you've got them on drip inventory, even though they could have just bought a house with you like last month. Maybe give them a little bit of time, but it's like they could have recently bought, but you're still setting them up on that what's next, because again, you just have to create the conversation. And there are lots of people that I swear, I feel like everything's always for sale, right? Like if something came up that really intrigued them, even though they just settled and they just finally hung their last picture on the wall, if they were really intrigued, they might consider it. But they're not going to know about it if, they're not actively searching anymore and nothing's automating to them. So trying to find like the dormant inventory in your own database. So now we're going to go into like 6 true engines. That's all kind of like working with what you already have. The 6 engines, and these are just a lot of screenshots. A lot of this is things that you already know, but ways to sort of level it up and try to take it to the next level. So for us, it's our sphere of influence, open houses, but doing open houses like really well, not just sort of halfway doing them. Expires for sale by owners. That's not super applicable in this market. There are some, but that's probably not going to be a huge funnel for people. Reverse prospecting your own solds, neighborhood farming, and then for us, video exposure. So sphere activation, we talked about this. CRM triggers, so things that tell you like, oh, they're looking at a house today. Oh, they favorited something, whatever that may look like. Oh, they opened their market report. They're curious about what their home values were. So CRM triggers, the annual equity review, which is something we offer to our clients, and it depends on bandwidth and who's busy and who's not, but offering annually to do a quick equity review with them, where we're not just sending them this automated report every day. We would actually pull together, maybe we do NAR, RPR, maybe we pull a couple of real comps. We could jump on a Zoom, go over some things and talk to them about what equity they actually have. And then for me, my conversations with a lot of people are, is that equity working for you? Do you just want all that equity sitting in your home? Or is there some opportunity where you might want to pull that equity and use some of it to invest in another property or put it somewhere else in your life? So we're not necessarily saying like sell the house you're in right now and go buy something else. Sometimes we are just trying to help guide and advise them towards the next place that money can go. And it's not always going to be real estate. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's, we're just telling them, call your stock guy or whatever, which is fine. Having some seasonal events. We do our Pie Day around Thanksgiving. I think a lot of people do something similar. We have just found the timing of Thanksgiving, like November, is the perfect time because we get so many people that are just like, we're thinking about doing something in the spring. Now, if you had a big party on March 1st, I think you might catch some people and feel like, oh, they're too late. Like they already feel like they've missed the market. But somewhere in that October, November, December, if you're willing to compete with holidays, but having something around that time of year has been really successful because people are thinking about the spring. And I think it doesn't feel threatening. I think they're willing to say it because they're not fully committing to it and it's still 6 months away. So they just talk about like, oh, we're thinking about the spring. So it gets that conversation going. Whereas if it were April 1st, I think people know me well enough. If they call me and we're like, we're thinking about selling, I'm going to be at their house with like a photographer and a landscaper the next day. So they might be a little more hesitant to mention it on April 1st, right? Than in the fall at a Pie Day party. Move up seminars, downsizing seminars. Let's get some of those back, guys. Like we have tried to offer them. To be fair, when the market was crazy, we weren't doing as many because like everyone was buying and selling. We didn't have to convince people, right, to make a move. We just got the listing and somebody was there to buy it. If we all were hosting more things like this to educate more people about what it would take to downsize or helping a population that's trying to downsize overcome objections, like how are we going to pack this all up? Who's going to help us organize? How do we manage the logistics of this? If we were jointly all creating more opportunities to have those conversations, I have to think that more inventory would be rising to the surface in a place where so many people are in good places to move. And then the would you move sort of, you see people posting all the time. I've probably only I've probably only done them once or twice, but when you pop something up on social media that was like, there's some ways to do it that are really smart. Like, would you buy this house if it were for sale today in Charlottesville or whatever? And it starts a conversation about Charlottesville or when are you planning to move, this year, next year, or 5+ years? And you just get people to say like something. Some of those feel a little gimmicky, but depending on your following online, who you talk to and what you say, that might be a good opportunity just to really passively get people to hand raise. And the one thing I did find about that is passively you get people to hand raise in other markets and it creates outbound referral opportunities. So those people seem, again, less threatened that I'm going to show up in the yard with the landscaper. And so they might be willing to put on my page that they're thinking of moving, but they might not put it on the page of somebody in their own market that's a realtor that they're thinking of moving. Watching the CRMs, we talked about that. Market reports, again, there's a million pieces of technology that do this. If it's built right into your CRM, I think that's super helpful. We have had many iterations in the past where it was like a plug-in and things had to sync up or you might sign up on one site, you might sign up on another for valuations, and it didn't all integrate as well. And I would say the more fluid it is, the better, because that's when you can really, truly in real time watch a person's market activity. So there are multiple CRMs that do this, but if you are in a CRM that doesn't do this, you might try to work out whatever friction you have with the plugins or what have you. Or if you don't have anything to give people home valuation, I don't know, you better be talking to ChatGPT a lot and having a ChatGPT automate a lot of stuff for you, because I really do think that is a big, big sign of a hand raiser. Drip system, again, like with your CRM, hopefully you're in you have something that can do an auto plan that can keep in touch with people without you actively doing everything. Listing alerts, market reports. We try it with like our past clients. We try to get every single past client set up on a listing alert that will alert them of things around just their neighborhood. Like if they're not actively buying, we're like, oh, can we set you up just so that you see what's happening in Dunlora, just so you can stay on top of it. And then market reports, obviously your house's valuation. So if you have those two things going to every person that owns a home in your database, you just have a whole lot more opportunity to chat with them. Pie Day, I don't know why that's right there, but it is what it is. Mailed communications, again, the home seller, home buyer workshop, and then things that will actually get them. I will say we've iterated these a lot and said a lot of weird things on them, but this particular card said, you'll learn facts and data about the marketing, expert staging, and organizing. We found that is like the big hindrance for a lot of people is organizing, packing, moving, how to properly prep your home, the selling process, timing the market. And then you may be surprised by our advice. And we do try to kind of hook people, sellers, by saying, you might be surprised. It's changing a little bit because they do have to be like more perfect and more market ready than they used to. But we used to communicate, you might be surprised that there's not as much friction getting your house on the market as you might be imagining there will be. And I think that is still the case, though it is getting a lot harder. This is just our mail marketing plan. I just put this in here so that you guys could have a copy of it. But this is what goes to our database because we are just constantly trying to stir up activity with the people we already know, right? Like we know that there are a lot of people in that pool that, again, it's an activation problem. So having something, this is just a template. It's nothing, it's just like the things that we do and when we do them. But it's a way that if you had a VA or if you had an assistant or you had somebody in your office that was helping 5 or 6 people coordinate marketing, you could make sure that that database actually gets consistent touches. Seller readiness, time horizons, I think we've gone through all that. Engine number 2 that I think people really, underestimate is open houses and just making sure that you are making the most of those open houses. Are you mailing anything out at all? We used to do those things, if you recall. Like direct mail still works. We might have to bring some of it back. Door knocking, going around to some of the houses nearby, reverse prospecting, making sure you have polished listing material because you're sort of being interviewed for listings by anybody that comes in. And then circle prospecting, like you could call a few of the neighbors nearby and just say, hey, I'm Sasha. I just want to let you know we're holding an open house here. I'm just giving you a heads up in case there's a little more traffic or in case you have an issue or something pops up that seems out of the ordinary. This is my phone number. Give me a call. Also, please feel free. I hope you'll tell the neighbors about it. You leave a lot of voicemails, but it's making that introduction. So then if that nosy neighbor comes to see what's going on with that house, they're like, oh, Sasha, she tries a little harder. She called me. She gave me a heads up that it might be a little busier. She seems to be hustling more than maybe the average realtor would, right? It's little tiny things like that if they're a nosy neighbor and they're shopping for their listing agent, I might actually be on their radar. Using them as listing magnets. If you are choosing to host open houses we are finding a ton of activity right now on open houses, like tons of activity. And we are finding quite a few people that are unrepresented. I think there, so much change in how people get representation and people worrying about like, is it the right time? Am I starting too soon? They have been very, very effective for us, but doing them seriously where I used to do mini open houses where it's like, I booked the open house. I would do a little research. Like I knew the comps, I knew the neighborhood. I would just show up, like plop a sign in the yard, sit there. Sometimes I'm like, oh, maybe I can read a book. Maybe I can get some work done. Hopefully nobody comes. It's a different market, right? It's like, if you're going to sit there, I'm an introvert. I don't always make the savviest business decisions, but there are times we've all been there where we're sitting and we're like praying, like, please don't come in. Please don't come in. Like you're turning the lights off like 15 minutes before it is. Maybe that's just me. But like, that's not the age that we're in. We're kind of in an age right now where we've got to find as many hand raisers as we possibly can. So putting some preparation into the open house, maybe calling some people. We have little postcards that are like announcing the open house. You could just pick the 20 closest properties and just handwrite 20 addresses and put them in the mail. It takes 5 minutes, right? And announce that you're coming and, offer to have them call you if they want a private tour so that you sort of can dictate who is a real person and who is just a nosy neighbor, whatever. There are so many ways to do this, making sure you're truly capturing leads. I think the biggest problem with open houses is you capture leads in them and then you don't follow up with them. You call them that day or the next day and you're like, hello, I promised you I'd send you the floor plan. Here it is. Hope you're good. And then it's like, call me when you're ready, right? And then not having a drip or an automation or a process to actually stay in front of that person because it might be 6 or 8 or 12 months before they do anything. And then we also will try, if we did any door knocking, if we did any circle calling, if we mailed any mailers to any of the direct neighbors, we will try once it's under contract or typically once it's closed, honestly, to update them just to say, hey, I just want to let you know, we got a couple offers. It was really popular. The neighborhood's really popular. We had 2 or 3 people that liked the house, but it wasn't quite the right match for them, whatever. Just striking up conversations with people in the neighborhood so they have some confidence. Again, that same technology I was showing before, that's a technology called Remind. It also will show you, you can just narrow in on a neighborhood and it will show you if anybody's property contact information is publicly listed. So if their phone number's in there, email address is in there. So you could just click and be like, oh, here are the 20 closest neighbors. 7 of them have phone numbers. They're not on do not call. I'm just going to call them and alert them about the open house. I'm not trying to sell them anything. I'm just trying to be a nice person, work up a conversation, and you never know. cool listing booklet. Just making sure that you're prepared for anything. Because I used to go to a lot of open houses and I just had a bunch of buyer stuff, right? But a lot of those people come in and they've got to be listing before they could be buyers, right? So just helping start the conversation, but being prepared for anything, because it's like, let's just not miss any lead opportunities for houses that could be for sale. That's my request. And then expireds for sale by owners, that's the same thing. There's plenty of technologies that will flag you to them. You can obviously see where they are in our MLS. You can find a lot of contact information online. Some people make a really true good model of this. My recommendation is if you're not going to make it a true model and be really consistent and be like very dedicated to it, it's a hard thing to do because we don't have very many expireds and we have a fair amount of agents that are working them. So just remember when you are calling on these people, if you are going to choose to call on them, they're hearing from a lot of realtors and they may not have like the highest perception of realtors at that moment because their house didn't sell and then 50 of them called. So just be mindful of that in terms of professionalism and confidence, because again, we'd like to re-engage that person in the market somehow. You might have to be a little strategic about what that looks like. And then reverse prospecting your sold. So sending out postcards to the neighborhood when something sells, if there's a nice price per square foot, low days on market, what have you. Neighborhood farming. Everybody knows how to farm. My only tip about that is try to get something that will direct them to a website so you can track your actual activity instead of just sending out a postcard, because farming is extremely expensive. And if you can't track ROI, it may or may not work. But the other thought with farming is just being consistent. You don't want to any of these things I'm talking about, you don't want to do all of them a couple of times. You want to do 2 or 3 of them a lot of times, because all of farming, none of this stuff works if you just kind of sporadically do it. And then video, that's my last plug is video sort of compresses the time, but it also scales trust faster. Like we can all watch a movie and be sobbing by the end of it. I don't typically listen to a phone call and sob at the end of it. I don't listen to a lot of, occasionally I could get crying at a podcast if it's really good, but it's really hard, right? Video creates trust. Video builds relationship. Even though you're not directly talking to that person, the more people see you, the number of people that reached out yesterday to me just to give me a pat on the back, being like, you're not horrible. That girl was angry. They felt like they knew me in that moment. Some of them don't know me at all, but I think they felt a relationship being built. So for me, it's create some efficiency. One of the things we did was a video explaining commissions when all the stuff started happening, who's going to pay it? Where is it going to come from? Oh, I want to hire XYZ because they say you don't ever have to pay a buyer's agent ever again. That's fine. We made a video because I didn't want to have 700 conversations about it. It's let's start with this. This will give you a broad outlay of what's going on, and then let's get some more specific questions. AI and systems, I can't go into this a lot because it's a whole different class for a different day. But the reason I think I overwhelmed people before, if I haven't overwhelmed you already, we haven't gotten to that part yet. This is my last minute. But the reason I think I overwhelmed people before was because my outlook on AI. Everybody's kind of oh, the Industrial Revolution happened. That took manual labor that converted it to machinery and made us way more productive, way more efficient. This is the same. Everybody just found new jobs after that, right? Well, the thing I think we all have to remember about AI is A, it's not going away. B, it iterates itself, right? AI is different because it's outsourcing thinking. And these machines are training on themselves and iterating on themselves without any human influence, and it's 24 hours a day. So that is overwhelming because it's not going to be like the Industrial Revolution. It is going to interfere with people that have jobs that are rote, people that have jobs that are redundant, people that have data entry jobs, people that have writing jobs, copywriting jobs. Anybody that does something over and over and over and over again is going to be interrupted by AI if they haven't been already. And so for me, thinking about if you're not utilizing AI, anybody that adopts things is always, they always win, right? The people that are passive about it are the people that get punished when any of these sort of revolutions happen. And so you have got to figure this out. Back in the day, if you move from the industrial world and you went to the thinking world, that was great. Now the people that are winning are going to be the people that can talk to AI and control artificial intelligence. And I know that's where people are okay, you lost me. Let's go back to listing postcards. But I am just being honest. Like our industry is about to really change. And if you're not paying attention, like it's just going to change around you. It's not going to not change. I'm not saying that real estate agents are going to become like obsolete. I'm saying that the ones that are going to be valuable are going to have to be doing some things a little bit differently. And just remember, with all the stuff I just mentioned, largely we didn't have to do a lot of that the last 5 years. And so I am not here to tell you that this job is getting easier. I do think we have a couple years where it's going to be harder before it's easier. I do think there's a lot that's coming that will hopefully make our lives a lot better, that will automate a lot of things, cut down our hours, make our lifestyles a little bit better. But I think we're not quite there yet. But things that you can have AI do for you, graph pricing conversations. Again, this is all saying like, please edit all of it. Like, don't just have ChatGPT write this and then just copy it and paste it. I'm not telling you that it is taking us out, but it can help leverage you, right? So reverse prospecting, automate past client follow-up, help you prep those annual reviews that you do. There's so much stuff that we are doing that if you just took a few minutes and trained AI to do it, it would just leverage, you could get hours back in your week. And then VAs, I think thinking about VAs, that's another thing. I have an excellent VA in the Philippines. She is very, very, very good. And she can do 90% of the things that a person like an executive assistant in Charlottesville can do for me. She can cover some different hours for us because she's on different hours, which means we have a little more leverage at nights and weekends. So there are lots of people that could leverage you, where if you're doing something that's like a $10, $15, $20 an hour task, we need to start looking at who else can be doing those so that we can be out trying to generate inventory. And then the whole idea, there's also a very ugly looking side. Just pick two, right? Just pick two. You can't do all of them. You can't do all 6 of them. You can't add it all if your business isn't doing any of them all right now. I would suggest pick one that's relationship related, that was kind of like database, and one that is exposure related, which is like do mailers, do video, all of that stuff. Here are the ones I went over. There's lots of options. Pick 1 or 2 and execute them consistently. Don't pick all 6 to 10 of them and do it inconsistently for a really brief time and then get burnt out and decide that you need to retire. But if you do, I'll take your referral. Send your referral clients to me. But no, I'm like, pick 1 or 2 things. Don't walk away feeling overwhelmed. Walk away feeling empowered. Like, I'm glad I was sitting in this room and I heard that and I got a little bit of a shakeup and I know I need to go home and probably layer a few things into what I'm doing right now. And then just know that like it's coming for us because now home search is built into ChatGPT, right? Like it's coming. If you're not optimizing your remarks, your listing remarks, and pouring lots of information in them that can be directly searched in ChatGPT, you're going to have to switch that soon. Like there's just, if you're not, go on ChatGPT and say, hello, ChatGPT, I would like to optimize my own profile online so that ChatGPT will refer me and recommend me more to other people. And it will tell you all the places you need to get reviews, you need to be signed up. Like you have to start thinking like the GPT. So, I don't know what those were. Those are extra slides. So quick things to do right now. If you want the slides today, scan that little QR code and they will get immediately emailed to you if there's anything that you need in there. Otherwise, I was supposed to have time for Q&A. I didn't leave a ton of time, but if there's anything that I can answer, we have a couple. What site showed you the sales score? Is it a paid service? That is called Remind. It is a paid service. I do not know what it is for individual users, but based on the level of amount of data in it, I bet it's $200 and $250 a month. It's a pretty thorough. It's pretty thorough. So it's going to be on the higher end of soft technology cost, in my opinion. Does anybody know that real answer, like what it costs? $199. It's on sale today, guys. Go get it now. I should get like an affiliate code for them. But it's a great tool if you're really trying to dig into a neighborhood and figure out what's going on in that neighborhood. And it also flags you for contact information, which we could also find in a number of other ways. It just takes longer. Any other questions? I don't think I got any others. Okay, we're back on time. I hope I didn't overwhelm you. I hope you got something out of today. And let's sell some houses, guys.
Sasha, thank you for sharing those strategies and helping us better meet to the demands of our buyers. In the same vein of understanding activities in our region, we are fortunate to have our second guest speaker, Jim Frydl, Planning Director of Zoning and Administrator from Greene County, with us. Jim's presentation will be available in next week's news group issue. If you're in person and have a question, please submit an index card. Raise your hand and a staff member will collect it from you. Those on Zoom, please use the Q&A feature on the Zoom toolbar and just submit your questions. Your questions will be rather loud. Jim, take it away.
Thank you, everyone. So I'll start here. Basically, this is an indication of what's going on in Greene County. I don't know how many of you actually come north to Greene County, but Greene is in the right space at the right time, the right location. The market, as you know, in Albemarle is moving north. AstraZeneca is going to be 2 miles from some of the developments we'll take a look at. We've got a lot of growth going on in Greene County, represented by the last quarter report. So the CAAR report shows that Greene County had an 85% year-over-year increase in Q4 sales. That was 111 total home sales. 71 of those were from new construction. So there is inventory being created in Greene County. And when we walk through the slides, you'll see that that's not going to be stopping soon. It's going to continue at this level or a similar level for quite some time. We did a bus tour of our areas, and this guy, I don't know if anybody can identify him. He's like Beetlejuice. If you say public meetings 3 times, he just appears. So, I don't know what the light's like, but if I was smart enough, like my friend Neil, to wear a hat like that, I wouldn't be going through a Sundamage street light. I'm all for it. But I want to start with the growth area. The growth area is the 29 corridor, the main growth area in Greene County. The designated growth area, and I highlighted in some of the developments we'll show in purple, so the ones that are heavily outlined. But this is directly adjacent, easily accessible to Albemarle and Charlottesville. And the first development, many of you probably have seen this. This is a mixed-use development. It's right on the 29 corridor, just over the county line. It's 282 townhomes. There's currently 100 of those that are built. There's 182 remaining to be built. Over 300,000 square feet of retail and commercial. They already have contingent contracts for a major upscale grocery store and multiple national chains. It's going to be a big change for this region of Greene County, with more opportunities for shopping, more opportunities for food, and it'll be located easily accessible for people from the north from Albemarle, 2 miles from where AstraZeneca will be. The next one is the large development. It's just to the south and east of the one we looked at, and this is called the Creekside development. It's 1,180 units. We'll look at the next 2 slides, but right now, it's all of that land that you see basically has been disturbed, and they're installing houses today. Really, the activity picked up at the end of 24 and is really going strong now. There's 113 single-family homes that have already been built, 38 townhomes that have been built, and there's over 800 units that are in process at the time. So as you can see, that's going to be a long-term project that's going to provide a lot of inventory and opportunity for folks. This is the western half of that development, or a portion of it. So this is over 400 units that are already underway, and the site plan for the second phase has already been approved. And you can see that's about 400 units there being developed currently by Ryan Hull. The east side of this development is being developed by Stanley Martin. Again, they have approximately 400 homes that are either already underway and built, and we have a final approval on that site plan also. Then we have another example. We have a few developments like this. This is the one most visible. This is on the north end of Greene County, near the river. It's a rural subdivision, and they have larger lots. So these are 10-acre lots, most of them. There's 53 single-family homes in this just small development. 13 are already built. There's 41 remaining to be built, and they're flying up pretty quickly also. Next, we have Wood Park. So these are some traditional developments that have been idle, but because of the market and the need for houses in this area, they're becoming very active. So this is in final review. They already have approval for the utilities to make this work, and it's 600 units. Currently, none of them have been built, but they're planning on starting the earth moving infrastructure installment, hopefully this year, what the plan is. Thank. So that is on 33, it's just east of 33 and 29. And if anybody knows the county well, it's between about 33 and Carpenter's Mill Road. The next one is a little further out, but it's going to be part of or adjacent to the town of Standardsville. And so it'll fit into the town. And if any of you made the trip to Standardsville, it's a cute town. Over time, it's kind of lost some of its vitality. It's an up and coming gem with a lot of opportunity, and this development will provide the needs for people to be able to support the stores and community. And that's 435 units. Okay. I'm not used to not being loud enough to be heard. And 100 of those are townhomes. Again, we have a site plan that's currently under review. We're working with the developer on the infrastructure necessary and how to incorporate that into the community's infrastructure that's being upgraded also. And then Four Seasons, many of you may be aware of that. It's a long-term development. It's been around since 2008. It is a senior-only facility or neighborhood, and they're now looking at moving forward. It's developed 2 phases. They're looking forward to starting the planning for the next 3 phases. So there's a lot of opportunity in a lot of different age groups and ranges within Greene County. Many of you know probably from the market data, the median home has been in the low 400s in Greene County. So there's opportunity there. It's a slightly different market than some of the homes in Northern Albemarle. And then it's just a summary. You probably can't see that very well. It just gives you a total of all the different developments that we've talked about. We've got a couple thousand home sites that are active. So, and by active, I mean they're either being constructed or the plans have been approved or are in the process of being approved. So you can see Greene is going to be a hotspot and an opportunity for folks, especially with, like I said, AstraZeneca is going to be 2 miles from 2 of the largest developments here. So there'll be a lot of opportunity for the workers that are coming to our area to find housing. That's all I have, really. I wanted to give that picture. I'm more than happy. I think it's far more valuable to answering questions that anybody might have. Oh. All right. So this is any plans to adjust traffic flow at 29 and Matthew Mill with all the new houses. In a statement, love all the growth, but that line in the afternoon is rough. Absolutely. My tremendously large staff, I'm kidding. We are managing a project with VDOT that will allow a lot better access in the mornings and the evenings. So the development that we looked at in the back, the very first one. So in the center, there won't be a traffic circle, but where you see that traffic circle between the right side and the left side, which is the commercial and residential, basically, That'll be a cut-through road, and a lot of the traffic that comes into that area and that intersection comes from Orange and Pretty Creek Road and Route 607. This cut-through will allow a lot of that traffic to get southbound on 29 without having to go through that light. And in the evenings, the people that'll be coming to all these homes will be able to turn in well before you get to that light. And there'll be a acceleration lane so that they won't have to stop southbound traffic in the morning when they're coming out. So people will be able to get out. 60% of our population goes south to Albemarle or Charlottesville for work. So all these people in these homes will be able to come straight out, have a protected left lane to accelerate in. Southbound traffic will never stop during the morning rush hour. So it is underway. This project is supposed to be completed in 2028. Nope. Do we have any updates on the ice hockey rink? So somebody's been driving their kids to Richmond apparently for hockey. So the ice hockey, so if everybody remembers the Charlottesville Ice Park, so there is a foundation associated with those folks, and they have funding. They're working on collecting more funding. They're working on the engineered plans, and then working then from there to construct this facility. So when I talk to them, they're going at their pace. Being a volunteer organization and a donation-based organization, it's not as fast as any of us would like, but they're still intending to move forward. Probably this year we'll see the engineering plans come in and get approved. At its best scenario, hopefully your kids aren't in high school playing hockey because they'll graduate before it gets built, but probably a couple more years. Water. Does Greene County have enough? Well, for Stephen, if Four Seasons on hold, I think there's multiple questions. Does Greene County have enough water and their plants maybe to hold water permits? So today, Greene County has enough water here to meet the current demands and a small amount of growth. The Board of Supervisors has approved water supply project. Those are underway. We have the drawings. Contractors have been approved. We're working through them with the land disturbing permit. So they're going to be putting in the intake in the raw water line. The next project will be the actual lake for storage. And that project is a 2 to 3 year project. And when it's completed, we'll have more than enough capacity. That should stay ahead of all of the building that's going on. If not, we have the ability to bring on some water wells in the interim to help offset any of the growth. I think that's all the cards I have. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Jim, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate you keeping us informed on the new developments in Greene. Next, I would like to invite M.K. King, CAAR Foundation Chair, and Dave Norris, CAAR Foundation Executive Director, to share an important update.
Good afternoon, good morning. I'm Dave Norris, Executive Director of the CAAR Foundation, and M.K. King is the chair for the CAAR Foundation board this year. We just want to give a quick update on your CAAR Foundation. We are excited about all the plans we have in the works for 2026. We do have some new board members: Heather Griffith, Kristen Cummings Street, Troy Yancey, Lakeisha Washington, and Nicole Scroll. So we're very excited to have them join us and help move the organization forward. And we do have new officers this year. MK is our chair, Jeff Gaffney is our vice chair, Judy Barefoot, our treasurer, and Michael Guthrie, our immediate past chair. So we're all working hard to make an impact on affordable housing. So just some upcoming activities for the CAAR Foundation. Michael Guthrie is going to be leading a Latte and Learn on local affordable housing initiatives on February 20th. We'll be partnering with him on that. In a moment, you're going to get a quick update from the Salvation Army on their new Center of Hope project as a tease for this longer lunch and learn on the Center of Hope project on February 24th. If you'd like to participate, it's a free session, free lunch. You can sign up on our website, causefoundation.org/events. We'll do a Survey Monkey, or we have flyers out at the table here if you'd like to learn more about that project. We're very excited to do anything we can to support Salvation Army in that effort. Last week of February, we have our Homeownership Navigators training sessions. So that's Lisa Herndon is going to be leading some trainings for our first group of homeownership navigators, realtors who are serving as volunteer mentors for aspiring first-time home buyers that are referred to us by Habitat for Humanity. Very excited about that project getting off the ground. And we do have a trivia happy hour by the Young Professionals Network on March 11th to raise money for the CAAR Foundation. This is just a taste of some of the activities we have going on right now. And I've showed this slide before, but just, more ways that we could all get together and support the CAAR Foundation. Obviously, donate, volunteer we have a new link on our website that says get involved. You can sign up to volunteer for a committee, volunteer as a homeownership navigator, etc. You can invite us to your brokerage, your company, to learn more about our work. Partner with us to advance the cause of affordable housing, and then share information about us with colleagues and friends, etc. And this is my contact information. If anybody would like more information or get involved, and we would love to get you plugged in. MK is going to say a couple of words about the CAAR Foundation and her vision for our work. I'll let her take it away.
Thanks, Dave. Thank you so much. And thank you for everything that you have done and continue to do for the foundation and for CAAR. We greatly appreciate it. I'm just going to go back. If I can go back. True. Sorry. There you go. One more color is good. Oh, other one. Other direction. That's okay. There you go. So two things. First of all, last year, hopefully most of you had an opportunity to attend our very first concert for affordable housing. That was our big fundraising event last year. It was super fun. And I think I just want everyone to know that we are planning something very similar for this year. The time period is not set yet. We are looking at venues. But it's a great opportunity to connect with other realtors, support the cause. And there were a lot of realtors who came to that, who bought 10 tickets and brought their clients, which was awesome. So, then we can have other people from the community supporting our cause as well, because we take donations from everyone, not just realtors. So think about that as a networking way to bring your clients into the mix. And the other thing that I wanted to mention, when it talks about partnerships and us coming to your brokerage, some of you may know this, a lot of Nest agents in the room here, but Nest is a really good example of a way that the entire brokerage is supporting the foundation on a regular basis, because they have a program where their realtors can give a certain dollar figure of every transaction towards a cause that is selected by the brokerage or by the agent. Lots of different ways you could do that in-house, but that was our one of our biggest fundraisers for the year last year. The company that gave us the most amount of money was Nest Realty. So I want to say thank you for that. And thank you. And that's another way that your brokerage could talk with us when we come to visit you about ways that we can have regular support towards the cause. So I think those are my two big things. But, am I not close enough? Sorry. Okay. Thank you, everybody. And thank you for your support. Great. Thank you, MK and Dave. Next, I would like to invite Rachel Burns and David Cook, Salvation Army Advisory Board members, to share an important update on the Center of Hope project. Good morning, everyone. To those of you that don't know me, I'm Rachel Burns, a realtor here in Charlottesville for 20 years. But today I am here on behalf, yes, ma'am, on behalf of the Salvation Army to talk to you about people in our community who don't have housing at all. I serve on the advisory board, the Salvation Army, with David Cook, as well as Anthony Woodard and Matt Greene, who are both members of our realtor community. And we are here to talk to you about the Center of Hope project.
Since 1912, the Charlottesville CAAR of the Salvation Army has been serving this community. For more than a century, the Army has taken a boots-on-the-ground approach, walking alongside individuals and families in crisis and helping them transition from homelessness to stability and from crisis to community. The goal is not just temporary shelter. The goal is self-sustainability.
The Army helps those in our community who need the most. One of the most transformational programs focuses on helping individuals and families secure employment and move towards permanent long-term housing. The goal is simple: earn their way to self-sustainability. At any given time, we have individuals actively participating in this employment and housing stabilization program, and it works. Annually, approximately 120 individuals move from being unhoused to permanently housed through the Salvation Army's program. That is 10 individuals moving from unhoused to housed and employed every month. That is a real measurable change.
The Army is also feeding and supporting our community at an incredible scale. Every year, approximately 50,000 meals are served. In addition, the Army operates a home care pantry where families and individuals can obtain household goods and hygiene products, allowing them to conserve limited finances when money becomes a struggle. These small supports often prevent a larger crisis, but demand still continues to grow.
Every single month, we receive 20 to 30 individuals calling, seeking emergency shelter, and we simply don't have the capacity. Every day, we receive 6 calls for rental assistance. Every month, over 300 requests for utility assistance. We are the primary safety net for the greater Charlottesville area, and we are at our operating capacity.
Our current facility on Ridge Street is more than 60 years old. It was never designed to handle the scale or complexity of today's needs. In 2019, the local advisory board approved a plan to move forward with a capital campaign to build a new facility, which we call the Center of Hope. This is not a cosmetic update. This is a complete replacement.
The new Center of Hope will dramatically expand our impact. Shelter capacity will increase from our current 60 beds to 114 beds. Transitional housing will include 7 2-bedroom units specifically designed for families. Our dining room will expand from a 60-person capacity to 120-person capacity. Our classroom space will double, going from 4 to 8 classrooms, increasing our seating capacity by 44 seats. We'll have a new 2,500 square foot multi-purpose room that will allow for expanded programming and community engagement. And we will have a dedicated children's playroom that will provide safe and supportive spaces for families. This is the infrastructure for complete transformation.
The total campaign for the Center of Hope is $31 million. Currently, we have raised just short of $16 million. Groundbreaking will occur no later than February 7, 2027. This is going to happen, and we believe the realtor community should help lead it.
The Salvation Army serves everybody, regardless of creed, race, gender, or sexual orientation. It is consistently rated amongst one of the most effective charities in America. And here in Charlottesville, it is often the first call that people make when everything else has failed. As realtors, we understand housing systems. We understand what happens when somebody falls through the cracks. And we understand strong communities require stability at every level of housing commitment. Uh, the, the Center of Hope strengthens the entire system.
So, how can we all help? You can donate personally or through your brokerage phone. You can connect with us. You can also connect us with potential donors, developers, as well as investors. You can also donate goods to our family store located on Cherry Avenue. You can also volunteer through the Soup Kitchen, Angel Tree, bell ringing, or other activities throughout the year. And today, if you'd like to learn more, please feel free to take a photo of the QR code on the screen. It will take you directly to the Army's website with additional information about the Center of Hope campaign. We also have handouts in the front and are happy to answer any questions you may have.
Every day we help people find homes. And the Center of Hope is about making sure that more people have a path towards one. It is a generational investment in Charlottesville, and we invite you to join us in building it. I want to say thank you, but I also want to say on a personal note, totally off script, through the YPN, the association has been involved with the Salvation Army Angel Tree specifically for years, and we have been the largest company or the largest group to support the Angel Tree. So I want to thank all of you for that participation. And then also bell ringing. We as the YPN have always done bell ringing. We as the association have as well. So thank you. You all are already supporting Salvation Army in so many ways. So I appreciate it. How are they going to expand the building? I've been there. There isn't much room. Tearing it down. We and stop me if I'm misspeaking, please. The plan is to temporarily move our shelter and our soup kitchen and our offices off site, and that building will completely go away. Potentially, we're moving it to Fifth Street, where our the Salvation Army Family Store is currently located. We believe that we will be using that site to relocate programs because it is still very convenient for those that we serve. Any other questions? Thank you all very much. Yes. The question is, has there been a location selected for the facility? We are taking the Fifth Street location down, so we will rebuild on Fifth Street. Absolutely. Yep.
So that next to the fire station, Rich, that'll be completely demolished.
Yep.
And we're going to go back. You're not meeting the location, but the temporary facilities, as what you was saying, would be moved to our Cherry Avenue Family Store location. Correct.
Lovely. Thank you all so much. Rachel and David, thank you so much for the update and all the great work being done for our community. We hope to see you at the March General Membership Meeting on Thursday, March. I got it. I saw you. We hope to see you at the March General Membership Meeting on Thursday, March 19th from 9 to 10 or 9 to 10:30 here at the Hillsdale Conference Center. We will celebrate our peers as they are recognized in the annual awards and professional honor societies ceremonies. To conclude this morning's meeting, I would like to welcome the following new realtors. What new realtors? Kathy Vinich for Better Homes and Gardens. Joseph. Okay, I don't have to read them. Because Joseph's with me and I still don't know how to pronounce them. Perfect. If you are a new realtor, I invite you to please introduce yourself to us. Are there any new realtors in the audience? In addition, I would like to welcome the following new affiliate members. Same offer applies. New affiliates. I invite you to introduce yourself to us. Any new affiliates? Great. Finally, I would like to acknowledge a few members who are retiring. Pam Bradley, Thomas Marachi, Michael Rogers. We wish them well and we wish them well and hope they rest and relax. Please check your CAAR education and event calendar for upcoming education events and programs. As a reminder, we are offering a free Virginia Housing Real Estate Professional Training class with instructor Frank Webster starting at 10:45. The class offers 2 hours of real estate related CE credits or 2 hours current trends PLE credits. Please make sure to sign in. You don't get credit if you don't sign in. This meeting is adjourned.